What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is predictions time for Scotland versus the Springboks, taking place this weekend at one of the most legendary stadiums in the world, Murrayfield. It's going to be a passionate day of passionate Scottish fans cheering on their country to take on the Springboks in what could be installed for a great game. Scotland haven't had a bad year at all, getting some great results for themselves. South Africa, as we know, are on the men. They've been on a bit of an up and down ride, but they've shown a lot of strength. They've shown a lot of positives. They've shown some heart. They've shown a lot of heart, passion, and so have the Scots, which is why I'm really looking forward to this battle between these two fantastic nations. I've got a soft spot for Scotland, as my dad was born in Scotland, and I always enjoy watching the anthems, the passion coming from the flower of Scotland. A few favourite players in the Scottish team that I really have admired in my time, Chris Patterson being one of them, Laidlaw being another, who are fantastic rugby players. Well, Patterson was, because he's obviously retired now, but Laidlaw is still going and he's playing this weekend, so I'm excited to watch him battle the Boks. Springboks have an interesting battle ahead. They had a very tough game against the French, who really showed up and gave a very strong performance against the Springboks this weekend. Truly was magnificent last weekend. But the one thing the Springboks did right was stick it out and become the team that they don't normally do. Sometimes they lose it just at the end, and then the other teams get ahead and win. This time South Africa kept on fighting, thanks to a great penalty save for Francois Lowe when he won the ball, and we went on to score the try by Bongi in the 85th minute, which is unheard of for the Springboks. Normally it's us losing in the final minutes of the game, or in the 81st or 2nd minute. So it was great to be on that end last weekend, but there's a lot of improvements that need to happen as we go into Scotland, because South Africa were kicking far too much. Faf de Klerk was box kicking. There's rumour talk that Papier could be the starting scrum half, which might not be a bad idea, but as long as Faf is in the lineup, because like I said, if players make errors, you don't want to chop them straight away, because it just kills their confidence. Malcolm Marx being a good example of that last week as well, after having a very shocking game as we kicked off against England. So it's important for our players to stay strong and positive as we go into this clash against Scotland. Now, the last time the Scots beat us was in 2010. I'll never forget that game, because my brother-in-law messaged us, phoned us, rubbed it in our faces when the Scots won, and rightly so. They deserved it. It was an absolutely magnificent game. I'll never forget them winning. It was a special moment for them, but it was a moment for some Springbok rugby to have caught a wake-up, because that obviously hadn't happened in a very long time. And then in the past 5 meetings, I think, since we have pretty much dominated with the odd close game here and there, the Scots, I think definitely since the last time we played them, have definitely progressed. They've had a fairly good 2 years. They beat England this past year, which was absolutely magnificent. They didn't do too badly in the Six Nations campaign, getting, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd place, which is pretty well done for the Scots, and well deserved. They really fought hard, playing well and playing strong. France, I think, and England were the big wins, and then obviously Italy in the closer contest. They also picked up a win against Argentina this year, where they actually dominated that game quite strongly, and then unfortunately picking up a loss against the USA. But that was obviously a third string team, but again, no excuses, they still lost to USA. South Africa, on the other hand, having an average Six Nations, obviously coming up second, had the opportunities to maybe get to the top, but just couldn't do it. The All Blacks just a too strong for us. But we did make history winning in Eden Park for the first time in, I think, over 10 years. We beat Australia in Port Elizabeth. We beat Argentina in South Africa, but we also lost to Argentina. So we had some improvements, but obviously the highlight is also beating England 2-1 in South Africa in the June test. So there's a lot of improvements that we've seen in South Africa compared to last year, when we were just totally shocking, when we got a record defeat, 57-0 to the All Blacks. Another record defeat against Ireland in Ireland last year. So we've come a long way under Rassie Erasmus, who's definitely changed things up a bit for the better of Springbok rugby, which is really, really exciting to see. And I'm excited for the future of what Springbok rugby is going to bring to South Africa and to South African fans. We're definitely in a better place at the moment. A better spirit within the camaraderie within the team is great. It's good to be feared again. It's good to see positive comments back. Obviously, the England loss was a tough one. We had opportunities to win, but unfortunately, we just didn't have it in us. The French win was a big one for us, so it was a good comeback from the Springboks in order to pick up a win there. So I'm proud of them for that. This weekend is going to be an interesting game. The Scots, you can never count them out. They're always a hard-fighting team, especially being at home. You can never count them out. They're a passionate bunch of players with outstanding talent within the squad. Hogg, one of the best fullbacks in world rugby today, is playing this weekend. As I said, Laidlaw's playing, Finn Russell's playing, Huey's playing, who's obviously got some experience within South Africa. Hamish Watson's playing. I think Strauss is on the bench, who was a former Lions captain in South Africa. So there's a lot of talent within that within the Scottish squad, and obviously players that I haven't mentioned who are also just as talented, who have done pretty well for provincial and national levels. So it's going to be a hell of a challenge for South Africa as we move forward to this game this weekend. It's a third one. It was going to be the third one for South Africa. So we will need to take this game really hard. We're going to have to do less box kicking as we go forward. We need to analyse what the Scots do. They had a very good win over Fiji. Obviously first half was a bit tough, but they bounced back and started scoring, getting over 50 points, which was a very impressive victory for Scotland. So well done to them on that one. But it's going to be a tough game. I reckon they're going to come out fighting. They're going to start off strong, and it's going to be all up to who can finish at the end of this game. South Africa don't have the greatest reputation of finishing well, but obviously we've got a good record against Scotland. Not saying it's going to be a walkover, but it's definitely a positive we can take for us as we move ahead. Now, Wales versus Scotland, that's a game that pretty much don't want to really remember. Wales being obviously the dominant team on that one. Scotland not capitalising on opportunities 2 weeks ago, so they're going to want to forget that result and go on in a more positive way, a more determined attacking way. Obviously improve on the defence. They played Argentina, as I said, and beat the Argentines 44-15, which is very impressive. After a smashing of, or not smashing, a 1 point loss to USA. So that's very impressive for Scotland, especially that Argentinian result. And that was in Argentina. So that's a result they definitely want to take with them as they move forward into this big game. So they have the potential, they have the players in order to scare and maybe beat the Springboks if they go forward. They just need to capitalise on the weaknesses, especially if South Africa box kick and Scotland run it back. They're going to capitalise and probably get some tries in. And that's going to be the key. That's going to be maybe the weakness, definitely the weakness for the South Africans. I want to see an attacking game from South Africa. I want to see us running, using our wings, utilising them the right way. Pollard controlling the game at fly half, Faf or Papier making quick movements within the scrums, making good passes in the rucks, getting the ball out there, taking chances, picking up the ball and running. Instead of box kicking the whole time. Watch Laidlaw, he's an experienced player, and when he does these kind of things, majority of the time he gets it right. So this is going to be a good inspiration to watch as we go into this game, because he's obviously a massive talent. It's going to be a battle between the fly-offs of Andre Pollard or Elton Yankees versus Finn Russell. It's going to be a kicking game in certain aspects depending on the weather. So it's important that the Springboks capitalise on kicking, get their points over like Andre did last week, who had an outstanding game. Finn Russell also, the same goes for him. He needs to be on point box kicks, we got Willie LaRue in the fullback with Stuart Hogg. Fantastic players. They need to be ready on the high ball. They need to be prepared. Centre pairings need to be good. I mentioned Jones has experience, or Hugh has experience in South Africa, so he's going to utilise that and take that with him going into this big test coming up this weekend. So much to look forward to. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think Scotland are going to really come at the Springboks and really play a determined game. It's all going to be up to fitness levels. If they can keep up fitness with the Springboks, and the same goes for the Springboks, they can definitely pick up a win that could shock us. South Africa are on the rise and they're improving, but they're nowhere near where they should be. There's a lot of things that they need to work on. Handling errors, discipline issues, in order to be to that level of where the intensity of what we want to see from the Springboks. And why I say that is because against the All Blacks we play outstanding rugby, but against England we weren't very strong. We made silly errors that cost us the game. If we do that again, we're going to lose to a team like Scotland, and that will be a big setback for Russia and the boys. So we need to pick up a victory this weekend if we are wanting to show more improvement and strategy going forward towards this game. So prediction wise, I'm going to predict a very an epic game. I think I'm hoping a lot of tries get scored, but I think a lot of kicking will be done in order to guarantee points. As we know, Finn can kick, and as we know, Laidlaw's a good back up kicker, so it's going to be important for that. For me, I want to just see great rugby, great running rugby, skillful rugby, and not kicking away to the opposition the whole time. So prediction wise, I'm pretty confident South Africa can do it when they play this weekend. It's going to be tough. It's going to be an interesting game, seeing where the players come from, how they attack the ball, how they approach it. But I'm confident South Africa can win this game by more than 7 points. I think we've got it in us. I think we've got the players to do it. We're in a better space than where we were nationals. Again, anything can happen. We definitely showed our weaknesses to the French and to the English, and if Townsend, I know he's a genius of a coach, if he's done his homework and researched on the weaknesses, he can definitely capitalize on that. But for me, I'm pretty confident that South Africa can pick up a victory this weekend. It should be an epic game, and all the best to Scotland and to the Scotland supporters watching this. I hope it's really a cracking game. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. South Africa by 7 points or more, hoping for an epic game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you can keep up to date with all future uploads. It's going to be an epic weekend of magnificent rugby. Make sure you check the recaps of previous games and the predictions for the upcoming games this weekend. It's going to be epic, and subscribe so you are tuned for the recap that will come place on Sunday or Monday. So make sure you're tuned in. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rugby. It is going to be epic. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.